what were some of the highlights of your career?
Oh, gosh, I mean, a lot
There's
of it was
so
just,
many.
well, no, it's just like, I mean, being this girl from Lebanon who was, and still kind of is a small town, to find like, to have a job where I'm getting on the train and going to New York and then checking into a hotel, and then we're meeting for drinks with the record company executives, and then we're going to, like I remember right when RCA had signed Christina Aguilera, they invited us down, and at this point,
did you see her?
Oh yeah, I met her a couple times. So basically it was funny. They invite us down and she had just been signed by RCA, and
RCA, my mom used to work for RCA.
I know, I'm dating myself.
In Indianapolis.
And I don't even think RCA, everything's been like absorbed. And again, you went from all these little, like all these record companies to like 3 big ones or whatever. But what I remember was that Christina she was the first artist at that time who unsigned was on I can't remember which soundtrack it was. Maybe it was Mulan, and RCA signed her. And so they wanted to have a big party. And we went down there and she was lovely. Like, couldn't have been more lovely. Well, fast forward like a year, we had offices in LA, and I'm in LA, and the guy, my friend at RCA, I guess at that time he was probably the senior VP, was like, oh, she's doing a show for Kiss FM, go. And so, oh gosh, I'm like, should I be telling these stories? For we go, right? And she didn't want to come out of her dressing room, like to go out on stage. And I remember like, oh wow, like, and she had they had a special promotion where all across the country you could win to have lunch with Christina at the Hard Rock Cafe in LA. And I happened to get to go and sit at her table because I'm just there hanging out with the record company. And I remember her new assistant, who she just hired, like cutting her food for her. Like, cut her own food. I understand this was like 25 years ago or someone ever. But I just was thinking, well, she's certainly changed since I met her a year ago. It's amazing to see what success does for a lot of people. But then I met Sting a couple times. Like, he would come and he was amazing.
I just saw Sting on the Steve Martin murder.
Oh yes, Murder in the Building.
Yeah,
yes,
like,
he has. Yeah. I love it. I'm currently on season 3, but he was like, so the contrast was like, he did a show at Nissan Pavilion, I think, and I hate to say it because it sounds really, but like whenever we would do stuff, we would always like, is there a meet and greet involved? Because like, I'm not sure I want to drive 45 minutes and just sit in the cheap seats. Like, that was sort of the life that you live, right? So he literally did a sound check party. So it's me, there's maybe 20 of us, and we're literally like, it's sort of like Deer Creek, whatever it's called now, the outdoor pavilion, and we're just all sitting there in the first and second row, and he comes out and he's sound checking, and he pulls a girl on stage and he has her duet Don't Stand So Close to Me. Like, I'm like, this dude is like unaffected by how many albums he sold, by his career, he is just, and then he came down and he was like, I'll sign whatever, because a lot of times it's like one thing, you get one thing, and so he just literally stood there and signed everything everybody put in front of him and did photos. I mean, you're like,
I like Sting.
I mean, I'm like, the guy's down to earth.
Really?
I had 25 years ago, and then another meet and greet that I went to at the same place, he had a professional photographer, and you went back and that's one of my favorite pictures, because he's like holding on to my friend and I, and you can see like his hands are, I mean, it's not like where they're all standing there like this. He's like, and you're like, damn, this is awesome. So he was the highlight for me, because here's a guy that I grew up listening to, and he couldn't be more friendly and down to earth.
Who was the most arrogant?
Son of a. So we had a studio. So we had an office building in Columbia, Maryland. And so a lot of, like, Britney Spears, I'll never forget, they called us and they're like, hey, because we were right in between 2 stations. We were right in between the top 40 in Washington, D.C. and the top 40 in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So we were a natural progression. If a record company was doing the little tour with their new artist, they would always stop and see us. And it was like 4:00 on a Friday. Most people had jetted out early, and they're like, hey, we just left D.C. We want to bring in this Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And I think she was 15 or 16. And there are like 5 of us left. And I wish the phones were like, I could do the live, and there was none of that, right? Like, we didn't even have a camera, but she came in our office, huge conference table, and sat down, and was the nicest, ma'am, sir, like, the manners, like, had that real Southern charm, and she was amazing. So I say all that to say that we would get artists beginning, like some of these people I'm sure are like serving like fries at McDonald's now, but a lot of them, blew up. They brought in Avril Lavigne, and it was right when I don't remember, but they brought her in, and she had not blown up yet at all. She was not a star, and she just sat there and like just seemed so annoyed, like did not want to be there. Like, you try to engage with her, my bosses, and it's just one word answers, and she just couldn't be more disinterested in the whole thing. And it was like, huh. And then, but I mean, here's the thing. You can't deny her talent. The album came out and it had so many good songs on it. She blew up, but she just was it's already kind of weird sometimes when you're meeting celebrities in that way where, you know, you're just kind of with the record company, you're just saying hi or whatever. So you already kind of sometimes feel awkward. And when they make you, it's clear that they're don't even want to be there. And that makes you feel even worse.
So when you're buying their
right.